Yeah, Ralph Waldo Emerson in 1871 said that if a man can build a better house or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if they build their house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door. And that is something that I think was propounded by Dr. King, Martin Luther King Jr., when he said that the time is going to come when we're not going to judge people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And he was prudent enough also to add that you may not be a pine on top of a hill, you may be a shrub in the valley, but be the best side of the shrub on the side of the real. And also another wise man put it and said that the world has made being black a vice. I intend to make it a virtue. Meaning that whatever task that lays in your hand, do it to the best of your ability. I think it's the American Constitution that said we hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal, in spite of the fact that their constitution for about 100 years had actually designated a black man for being 3/4 of a human being. And even after they had been freed, it took them 2 years for them to know that actually they had been freed. So it's possible for you to be subjugated or to be colonized intellectually, even without knowing that actually a slave. So this kind of intellectual mental slavery or neo-colonialism that is solely dependent upon the white man in terms of social, economic, political, and everything. I'm here in Louvre and I'm seeing a lot of biases that are imputed upon the black man, particularly the African black man. We thank God for the American black man in a sense that they have actually tried to do a little bit of redemption, because especially in terms of sporting and stuff like that, but also intellectually, we have evidence of incredible people who have actually asserted themselves, the likes of Barack Obama, you know, the likes of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the likes of Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Mohammed, the likes of, name it, many of the sports people who have actually asserted themselves in terms of football, in terms of basketball, the Michael Jordans perhaps, the Serena Williams in terms of tennis, name them. So we have to learn that we are as good as anybody. All we need to do is to pronounce ourselves, assert ourselves, and do our job so well that we are able to redeem that, you know, that bias that has been stereotyped by individuals when they think that we are simply second-class citizens. So in my upcoming book, which talks about true blackness, those are some of the arguments we're going to perform, that a black man is not anything different from a white man. And we're as good as anybody. And all we need to do is to assert ourselves and fight so hard and do our job so well that the world will be able to understand and comprehend us. That's what the Chinese are doing right now. That's what the Asian countries have done. They have redeemed themselves in the sense that they have actually put themselves in a position where they are equal. Yes, it is true that even as you begin to fight for those forces and redemptive places in this world, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be people who throw you back. You know, there are going to be people who not try to, you know, demonize you or stereotype you. I mean, the likes of Nelson Mandela were actually called rebels of sorts, even in terms of human rights. Later, they are now being celebrated as, you know, heroes of sorts. So it doesn't surprise me that whatever thing that starts, I think Dr. King said, he who starts behind in a race must forever remain behind or run faster than a man in front. So we have to understand that even as we pursue these dreams of ours as black people, or even as a nation or as a country or as a creed, that we're going to have challenges. But the point is we have to do our job so well that the dead, the living, and the unborn cannot do it any better. So that even if they look for you, nobody has a choice. I think it was Idi Amin who one time said it when they were going for boxing. He said, when you go for boxing, make sure you hit the guy, your opponent, so bad with one knockdown that they have no chances of saying, I think he won him by 2 or 3. So we have to assert ourselves by doing our job incredibly so well so that the world will say, that is the guy. I think the Liberian president, George Weah, said it when he actually won the Ballon d'Or and stuff like that, the football prizes in Europe. And he said, as a black man, you have to work 3 times as hard as a white man for you to be in this place. So meaning that the stereotype that the world has imputed upon us has to be fought regardless. So we have to assert ourselves and do our job so well. We just have no excuse anymore of pleading ignorance or pleading naivety or pleading anything. We have to assert ourselves and do our job. So that's the fundamentals that I want to emphasize in the book that is coming up. You can find many of my books at luvogo.org and sujourneysoloapp.com. We have incredible books right now. The hand of God has been gracious, probably 50 now running, and you can just visit the website, and many of them are readily available on almost every repository in the world right now, and also in the US Congress Library and also Amazon. You can find, and even Dictator Draft and Smashwords. So you can find all our books, and we speak about almost everything that is novel in a way. Anything that is novel will be there. We are like what Bernard Shaw said, most men see things as they are, and that's why we dream of things that are not, and ask why not. God bless you. Isaac C. Luvogo is my name.